Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Rob and I'm incredibly excited to introduce to you our podcast, Strictly Cyber. We've created this space specifically for business owners like you who want to understand cybersecurity without getting lost in the technical jargon. I'm joined with James.
Hi everyone.
And today we're diving into the world of cybersecurity process and policies and exploring how they can help protect your business and data. Don't worry, we're leaving the technical language at the door and keeping it simple. First, I want to tell you a little bit more about myself. My name's Rob. I'm the director of Kit365, a cybersecurity business based out of Leicester. I've been in and around the cybersecurity and IT industry for about 20 years.
Hi everyone, I'm James. I'm a security analyst at Kit365. I've been in and around cyber for around 2 years and technology as a whole for around 5.
So policies and processes and procedures within organisations that I suppose can prevent cyber or at least reduce the risk is what we're going to be touching on today. So how do they help organisations? Well, for me, I think a good way of looking at how they work together, like what is a policy versus what is a process or a procedure, for me, they work hand in hand. It's almost like baking a cake. Like if you know how to bake a cake without the recipe, that's the process. Whereas the recipe is actually the policy that's telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
So, you might have a process within the business that is resetting your password, for example, or choosing a password. You might know what that process is. You might know that, I've got to do these certain tasks to make sure that I can reset my password there. But what the policy is also doing is telling you how you should structure that password. And there's other policies as well, right? Like it could be like, a joiners, movers or leavers process. Like you will have a process for if somebody's starting or is going to join your business, there will be a process there that says, right, they start the business, they need an account, we create the account, we hand that account over. There's a simple kind of process there. But to back that up, you also need the policy that literally almost lists that out.
And it's like if the policy is the recipe and the procedure is the baking of the cake, in a kitchen of 10, 15, 20 people, everybody needs to know the recipe. And that's kind of the key thing with policies and procedures. Everybody needs to know it for you to actually end up with a cake at the end. Because if at some point somebody starts throwing something else into the mix, then you're not going to end up with the best cake in the world.
Yeah.
You might end up with an omelette. And
I think these are the kind of challenges that come along as well, right? So when you look at organisations of different sizes, they're all going to have their own challenges. Like for an organisation or a small business like ours, where we all work together, there's 5 or 6 of us, we all work really close together. We kind of work in this space. Well, we do work in this space. There's no kind of about it. We work in this space. We're talking about this all the time within the office. Whereas like somebody that's a sole trader or one-man band, they might not necessarily feel that they need any processes as such or policies, but I would argue it's still important that they're at least thinking about it and have some things in place, especially if they're thinking about cyber and what that means to the business and what that means to protect their users, their employees, themselves, the customer data. So let's talk about what processes we see or we come across within Cyber Essentials.
Yeah, so policy and process within Cyber Essentials is one of them things where I think there's only actually one that you need for Cyber Essentials or that is mentioned, which is password policy. Specifically in a question that is mentioned, yes, but there's a lot of other policies that really do make it a lot easier to achieve.
I think this comes back to like the whole process and policy thing and how they work together. Like most of the questions do actually say, what is your process?
Yeah.
And that's fine to know what the process is, but to 100% make that solid and back it up is why you need the policy.
Yeah.
So for me, even if it mentions process, I would recommend that you also have that policy to support it. 100%.
Yeah.
So the things that they talk about in there, you mentioned the password policy.
And then processes, there's all sorts. You've got firewall review. You got to be reviewing your firewalls, and then a lot of the other processes come down to, like you said, joiners, leavers, movers, and kind of account creation, giving people administrator access, leavers accounts, what happens with them, and there's a lot more examples. What else do we have? Got leavers, you got joiners, movers, leavers. They're all mentioned. You got admin access, firewall reviews. There's more. Go on, throw something there. So you were just having the discussion with Dan, weren't you, about policies, and kind of the hardest bit tends to be getting pen to paper and getting the words down. So we've kind of created a Cyber Essentials policy pack, haven't we, that should arm people with all they need to go and pass Cyber Essentials kind of policy-wise.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think one of the hardest things about policies is actually deciding what you want to do, sitting down and writing it.
Yeah.
So Cyber Essentials asks for, a handful of policies. So what we've decided to do is do the lion's share of that work for you and create a pack that you can use to implement, knowing that other than a few changes like, putting your own logo and your own branding on there and making sure that you're happy with 12 character passwords rather than 20 character passwords or whatever it might be, the lion's share of that work is actually done for you. And the way that you implement that ultimately is making sure they're what you want. You sign them off, you approve them as the MD or whoever, you put them somewhere that all employees can access them, and then you let them know what they are.
Yeah.
Where they are.
Yeah. So for anybody watching that's wondering, how do we get our hands on this policy pack?
Yeah, so just reach out. Like, it really is that simple. We're more than happy to help, have a conversation with people. So if it's something that you'd be interested in and it feels like it's going to solve some of your issues or your pain points, then contact us by email.
Or LinkedIn. Rob Neller or James Nichols on LinkedIn. We're always happy to send them over.